All right, let's dive into an idea that might completely change how you see your child's struggles, not just in school, but at home too. The whole thing boils down to this. Your child isn't just a student, they're a complex system. Wow, this quote, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? We push our kids so hard to keep up with the curriculum, with expectations, with the program. But the real battle, that's happening on the inside. They can't even keep up with themselves. So, what's really going on here? The problem often starts with where we focus our attention. As parents, it's totally natural to look at the most obvious signs. But a lot of the time, we end up looking in completely the wrong place. We're staring at the smoke and we're missing the fire. First, you see the report card, right? The letters, the numbers, and you just feel that pit in your stomach. The grades seem like the clearest, most obvious signal that something is off. Then there's the behavior, the acting out, maybe the silent treatment, the never-ending arguments about homework. It all feels like defiance, like they're challenging you on purpose. And finally, the one that drives us all crazy, the disorganization, that constant stream of I forgot my homework, or I lost my gym clothes, or I missed the deadline. It's infuriating. It just looks like they don't care. So you see all of these things, the bad grades, the attitude, the forgetfulness, and you come to what seems like a pretty logical conclusion. He's just not trying. If he would just apply himself. But what if that's not it at all? What if that's the biggest misdiagnosis we could make? Because when we operate from that place, from that not trying assumption, we can accidentally set off this really destructive cycle. It's a downward spiral that honestly hurts everyone. Let's break down how that happens. It starts when we try to fix their effort or their motivation, things that aren't actually the root problem. And that leads directly to fights, scandals, and conflict over homework, chores, you name it. Then, over time, your child starts to feel like you're not on their team anymore. And that trust starts to crumble. And eventually, this constant tension, this feeling of being misunderstood, it just becomes the painful background noise of your relationship. But there is a way to break this cycle. It just takes a major shift in how we see things. We have to stop trying to fix the student and start trying to understand the system. And this is the game changer right here. A child isn't just an academic machine. They are a complex, deeply interconnected system. And when that system gets knocked out of balance, when their brain is totally overloaded, their emotions are running wild, and fear is in the driver's seat, their ability to function, to learn, or to even try, it just collapses. So what does this system actually look like? Let's pop the hood for a second and check out the core components that are really running the show behind the scenes. It really comes down to three key things. First, the brain. It's not lazy. It's overloaded. It's struggling to process this constant flood of information. Then you've got the emotions, that frustration and anxiety. They aren't just side effects. They are actively getting in the way of focus. And finally, maybe the biggest one of all, fear. The fear of making another mistake, of seeing that disappointed look on your face again, of just not being good enough. Okay, so once we get a handle on this internal system, our entire approach can change. We can move away from a strategy of reproach, of constant criticism and correction, and shift toward a strategy of relaunching the system itself. Let's just put it side by side. The old way is all about focusing on symptoms, which leads to nagging, which ignores what's really going on, and the result is just pain for everyone. But the new way? It starts by seeing the whole system. And instead of criticism, you provide tools to manage that overload. The goal becomes restoring balance, and the amazing result is that you unlock a strength in your kid that you maybe never even knew was there. This is the ultimate promise of making this shift. When a child's internal system feels supported instead of attacked, when they're given the tools to handle their brain, their emotions, and their fears, they don't just start trying. No, they tap into this deep well of strength and resilience that they didn't even know they had. So, I'll leave you with this to think about: your child, your family, your relationship. What could really, truly change if the goal wasn't to fix the student, but instead to support the system? The answer? Well, it might just change everything.